Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to the top 10 times movie bloopers made it into the final cut. Now the reason we're reacting this today is because we've got a exciting time coming up on the channel. At the time of recording, I have recently announced the date that we're going to be starting Film Fridays, which is the 7th of April. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I thought, what kind of film related thing could we do off the back of that announcement? And I came across this video, so I thought we'd check it out together and see what are the best bloopers that actually made it into the final cut. And I thought it could be quite interesting, so let's not waste any time. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Let's get into the reaction.
Number 10. Stormtrooper Bonk. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Stormtroopers, the frightening minion-like army of the Empire.
It's them! Blast them! Get back to the ship! Where are you going?
Certainly has courage.
Good will it do us if he gets himself killed? Come on.
In the Star Wars franchise, they are the evil personified, which makes this clumsy misstep all the funnier. In A New Hope, there's a scene where a group of stormtroopers enters a control room. One of them isn't quite as smooth as the others, and audibly hits his head onto the doorway with a loud bonk.
Take over.
The incident has been confirmed to be an accident, with many actors claiming fault for the head.
Now, I've never seen Star Wars. It's not something that's ever really taken my interest. But with Film Fridays coming up, if you want me to react to it, get it requested. But yeah, I've never seen Star Wars. It's never been something that's really piqued my interest. I know a lot of people are going to come at me for that because it's such a popular movie franchise. But like I say, it's just something I've not seen before. But that was quite funny. So I'm glad that made it into the final cut. Because it's just funny that you see the guy hit his head and you hear the sound it makes. It makes for great comedy. So yeah, I'm glad that made it in.
Headbang over the years. We don't know if a bunch of people lied about their role as the trooper, or if there were a bunch of scenes of stormtroopers hitting their heads left on the cutting room floor. We're hoping it's the latter.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
Number 9. Rich Falls. The Martian. Hey, even astrodynamicists lose their balance sometimes.
I done the math. Checks out.
Rich,
Yes, sir.
get out.
Donald Glover, also known as Childish Gambino, plays a scientist named Rich Purnell in Ridley Scott's The Martian. In one of Rich's first scenes, a coworker wakes him up to have a conversation. After a few moments, Rich appears to have a revelation about something. He proclaims that he needs more coffee, swiftly stands up, and falls straight down, out of sight of the camera.
I need more coffee.
You all right?
Fine.
Apparently, this fall was not planned. The other actor running over to ask Glover if he's okay is really reacting to the accident. Scott liked the moment a lot, believing that it humanized Rich. So, he decided to keep it in the final cut.
You do understand I'm your boss, right?
Number 8. Bleacher Fail. The Princess.
I love that. That's just the way he got up and just slipped. I've not seen that film either, so looks like there's going to be a lot of films in this list that I haven't actually seen before. So I'm going to have ever so minor spoilers for certain things on certain movies. But if you guys want me to react to anything that's on this list, just let me know. Or if you've got anything at all you want me to react to, let me know. And I'll put it on the list to react to, and we will get to it. Number 8, let's do it.
Diaries. In 2001's The Princess Diaries, Princess Mia Thermopolis isn't the most graceful of teenagers.
Oops. I'm sorry I didn't see you.
If you asked her, she would probably say she's the last person in the world who could easily portray a sense of royalty. And that's what makes this little accident such a perfect character moment. In a scene where Mia and her friend Lily are talking on the bleachers, Mia suddenly slips and falls through the steps.
Ouch.
Are you okay?
Apparently, this was a total accident, causing actress Anne Hathaway to burst out laughing at her mistake. Director Gary Marshall found the moment so charming, he decided to keep it in the film.
I really don't want to talk about this at the moment, okay?
Number 7. Kick to the Jaw. Mission Impossible.
That's a nice one to keep in there, you know. Just laughed it off and they kept it in, and it, you know, maybe it goes with the movie, I don't know. But Mission Impossible 2. That is one I have seen, but not for a very long time. So let's see what the kick to the jaw's all about. Because I can't remember the last time I actually saw Mission Impossible 2.
2. Tom Cruise has made a name for himself as a guy who wants to do all of his own stunts.
I don't think I can get her to do it.
You mean it'll be difficult?
Very.
Unfortunately, in Mission Impossible 2, he accidentally took things a bit too far. In a famous fight sequence that includes a knife centimeters away from Cruise's eye, the famous actor actually kicked his fight partner in the face. Cruise placed a roundhouse kick squarely on Dougray Scott's jaw, knocking the Scottish actor back for real. If you pay close attention, you can see Cruise react in horror to his mistake. Apparently, however, no one was horrified enough to leave it outside of the final cut.
You alright, mate?
Punk put a hole in my Versace.
Number 6. Spit Take. Fast and Furious 6. Sometimes good improv.
I don't suppose that's really that noticeable, the Mission Impossible one, without the look on Tom Cruise's face, you know, because I watched a couple of times there where they showed the kick, and it wasn't overly noticeable, I didn't think, anyway. You might disagree, but yeah, that was an interesting one, and it was Tom Cruise's face that sort of gave that away, as opposed to the actual incident itself, but it makes it more real. It makes it more real, so you can't fault a movie for having something that feels real in there when it is, you know. Now, Fast and Furious, I have seen that franchise. Fast and Furious 6, I know very well, so let's take a look.
Improv leads to another actor making a mistake.
So who's got a plan B?
Plan B? Plan B, we need a plan C, D, E.
We need more alphabets. Hey, we do what we do best. We improvise, all right?
But sometimes, you end up keeping both in the final cut. Towards the end of Fast and Furious 6, the crew gathers together for a little family cookout. Luke Hobbs, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, arrives at the cookout where he improvises a funny line. In a quick comeback that no other actor knew was coming, The Rock makes fun of Tyrese Gibson's character's forehead.
Hey, Mia, you better hide your baby oil. I'm just playing.
You better hide that big-ass forehead.
Ludacris reacts to this line by spitting out his drink. Luda was reacting in real time to The Rock's sick burn, and the take was so funny it made the final cut.
Wasn't half bad having you work for me.
Now, we all know you were working for me, Hobbs.
Number 5. Breaking the Glass. Blade Runner. If you thought
That is a great great moment in that movie. That the comeback from Hobbs to say, hide your forehead, you know, it's just, I love that line. I loved it when I first watched the movie. It makes me laugh every time I see it. It's just a great line, and I'm glad they kept it in. So it's all good. Number 5, Blade Runner, another one I haven't seen. So let's see what this has to offer.
Daryl Hannah wasn't a consummate professional, think again.
I'm hungry, JF.
I got stuff inside.
But also, we think it's probably okay to ask to pause a scene if you literally injure yourself while filming it. While making the 1982 science fiction classic Blade Runner, Hannah accidentally smacked her elbow through a window. The moment happens when her character, named Pris, is running away from William Sanderson's character.
Hey!
While on the run, Hannah tripped over one of the many pieces of debris on set and crashed through a nearby car window. Hannah kept going, but she ended up cutting her elbow in multiple places. Director Ridley Scott kept the take, which really underscores the anxiety of the chase.
We scared each other pretty good, didn't we?
We sure did.
Number 4, Bonk. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship.
Okay, so, I mean, would the scene have worked just as well without the elbow through the window? Potentially, I don't know, because I need to see the whole scene to be able to say for sure. Obviously, we're just seeing cuts of it here, but yeah, like the fact that she ran away that fast that she went through the window, I think does add a little something to it. If that wasn't originally there, maybe it wouldn't have been as good. So maybe that is a good one that they've kept in. Another movie franchise that I haven't seen, Lord of the Rings. So I have no idea what to expect from this one. So let's take a look.
Ship of the Ring. While filming Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Ian McKellen often had the difficult task of playing the very tall Gandalf opposite a bunch of very small hobbits.
Bilbo Baggins! Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks. I am not trying to rob you.
While filming inside Bilbo Baggins' home, McKellen accidentally knocks his head against the top of an archway.
Just tea, thank you.
Reportedly, Jackson found the moment so compelling and well acted that he decided to keep it in the movie. But McKellen has a slightly different recollection. According to McKellen, the moment wasn't an accident at all. He just decided to do it without telling Jackson. Whatever the case, it's one of the moments that gives us such a warm, fuzzy feeling about Gandalf.
I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
Number 3, farting.
That was an effect, quite an effective blooper. If it was a blooper, obviously it's been disputed that it was actually a blooper and he did it on purpose. If he didn't do it on purpose, though, I don't see why he has to try and cover it up. If it was an accident, just admit it's an accident. You've got nothing to gain from trying to save face and saying, "No, I decided to do it on purpose." Just fess up and say, "Yeah, it was an accident." There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes some of the best moments are from bloopers, and we all love bloopers. We do. So it's one of those where should it be on the list if we don't know for definite if it's a blooper or not. I'm fine with it being on the list for now, but we'll see. We will see. The Usual Suspects, another movie that I haven't seen. There's so many movies on this list that I've never actually seen before, so it'd be interesting to see if any of you actually request for me to react to these, because if you do, I'll get to see the movies in full, so I'll be looking forward to that. So let's take a look at number 3, The Usual Suspects.
Lineup, The Usual Suspects. Sometimes a little mistake can help loosen up a set.
At that point, I wasn't scared. I knew I hadn't done anything they could do me for. Besides, it was fun.
Such is the case with The Usual Suspects, in which some bathroom humor helped unlock the key to an iconic scene. One of the most iconic moments from The Usual Suspects is the infamous lineup scene, which has been the subject of behind-the-scenes gossip for some time. According to writer Christopher McQuarrie, actor Benicio del Toro could not stop farting, causing the other actors to break out in laughter.
Number 3, step forward.
Reportedly, Del Toro farted about 12 takes in a row, and no one could keep it together. In retrospect, McQuarrie says he thinks the mistake actually improved the scene, making it into the amazing moment it is today.
It was all the cops' fault. You don't put guys like that into a room together. Who knows what can happen?
Number 2, Candy Cuts His Hand, Django Unchained.
Okay, so I'll need to see that movie to maybe fully appreciate that one, because all I can see there is a bunch of guys laughing, and they said about the farting. That may be the case. I just feel like I'd need to see more to really give a fair reaction and fair judgment on that one. Let's go into number 2.
Chained. One of the marks of a good actor is to keep things moving, even if something unexpected happens.
The hell you say?
I'm aware this is probably disconcerting news.
But in this case, if we were Kerry Washington, we might have a few words for one Leonardo DiCaprio. During a scene in Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, DiCaprio's deranged slave owner Calvin Candy slams his hand on a table and cuts it on a glass.
Now lay your palms flat on that tabletop! If you lift those palms off that turtle shell tabletop, Mr. Pooch is gonna let loose with both barrels of that sawed off.
Apparently, DiCaprio really did cut his hand, but kept the scene moving. It was a good choice. The blood all over Candy's hand only serves to underscore how crazed the man actually is. However, there's some debate that the blood he wipes all over Kerry Washington's face is real. As the story goes, Tarantino was inspired when Leo cut his hand, and used fake blood for the rest of the scene. Here's hoping for Kerry's sake that story is true.
Then we can examine the 3 dimples inside Brumilda's skull! Now! What's it gonna be, Doc? Huh?
Before we continue.
So I've not seen that movie either. There's only been one movie on this whole list so far that I've actually seen. I feel like that's a good thing. He smashed the glass by accident, but I feel like that added to that scene from what I saw there. I feel like he was going to smash his hand down on the table maybe and accidentally hit the glass. I don't think it had been quite as effective if he'd have just slammed his hand on the table. I feel like the sound of the glass shattering made it for a more dramatic scene. Maybe it's a movie we can check out on Film Fridays. I feel like I'm just plugging Film Fridays constantly here. But because there's so many movies here that I haven't seen, there could be an opportunity to watch them perhaps if you guys want to see that. The video today isn't about plugging Film Friday, don't get me wrong. But if you guys do have any requests, please do, put them in so that I can react to the movies that you want to see me react to. And I feel like if he'd have just slammed his hand down on the table there, that would have just been a bit dull. The sound of the glass shattering just felt like that made it all the more dramatic. And I can see why people might think that it was real blood being used, that he wiped all over the girl's face, because he'd really cut his hand. I suppose we can only take the word of the director on whether or not that was the case, but it was an interesting scene. Like I say, it felt a bit more dramatic because of the sound of the glass shattering. So let's jump in and find out what number 1 is.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, I'm Walking Here, Midnight Cowboy. There has been some discussion over the years about the truth behind this particular anecdote.
Cowboy, huh?
Well, sir, I ain't a for real cowboy. But I am one hell of a stud.
We think it's probably true, but we'll leave you to do your own research. While filming Midnight Cowboy, stars Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight are both in a famous scene where a taxi almost runs them down on the street. Hoffman smacks the hood of the cab and famously yells, "Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here!" According to Hoffman, this taxi's entrance was not planned. The set was not closed, and the cab really almost ran down the two actors. When Hoffman said, "I'm walking here," he meant something along the lines of, "Hey, we're filming a movie." Luckily for Hoffman, it turned into one of the most famous movie moments ever.
Don't worry about that. Actually, that ain't a bad way to pick up insurance,
So, once again, a movie I haven't seen before, but I'm very familiar with the line. I didn't know it was from that movie. I've heard that line before. And that's interesting, that's how it all started. It wasn't a closed set. The taxi almost ran him over, and he just responded to it, reacted to it, but without saying we're filming a movie, so it didn't ruin the take, it didn't ruin the shot, and it just worked. And it's created a line that people who haven't even seen the movie have heard of, which makes it for a great movie line, So yeah, I think that was quite interesting, that last one. And that will do it for the top 10 movie bloopers that made it into the final cut. I found that quite interesting, and there was only one movie there that I've actually seen, so there was a few spoilers in there for me, nothing too major, but potential opportunities to maybe watch those movies when Film Fridays begins. If you're watching this when Film Fridays has already started, I may or may not have seen these movies by now, but make sure you still put your requests in, because without you guys requesting the movies, it's just me watching movies potentially that I may have even already seen before. That I just happen to like and I want to share with you guys. So if there's anything you actually want me to see me react to, please let me know. And that's going to do it for today's reaction. So if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. If you have anything at all you want me to react to, whether it's for Film Fridays, Party Hardy or anything else, let me know and I will react to it, and I'll see you next time.